Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am going to be going over my winter seasonal TBR. So basically what this is for the next 3 months, whenever I do my TBR games, these are the books that I'm going to pull from. And I have some rollovers from my fall TBR, but most of these are new picks. And pretty much what I did was I feel like in my fall TBR, I had a lot of books in there that I wasn't excited to read, but I just wanted to get read so that I could decide what I wanted to do with them. And I feel like, along with me not having as much time to read as I thought I was going to, I also was kind of in a little bit of I had a couple little mini reading slumps because I wasn't necessarily reading books that I was super excited about. So for this TBR, I switched it up and I only included books that I'm excited to read. So let's get into what they are. I'm going to show you the ones that are rolling over first. I have 25 books. I also have less books in this TBR than I had in my fall TBR. I think I had 40 in my fall TBR. I have less in this one because I'm lowering the amount of rolls that I'm going to do, or rolls, because I'm not using dice, that I'm going to do in my monthly TBRs. So I don't need as many books. So first we have The Bone Orchard, and this, literally all I know about this is that there's literally an orchard made of bone trees, which sounds super cool. Then I have Starling House, and honestly, I don't remember what this one's about. Maybe a haunted house or something, or a creepy house. I don't know. Yeah, I think is this the one where she has to, she volunteers to work in this house that nobody else will go to or something like that because she's desperate for money. I don't know. Is that this book? I think so, maybe. Either way, it sounded very interesting. So what I do a lot of times when I buy a book is I will have either heard the synopsis or somebody kind of describe it a little bit, or I will read the synopsis in the bookstore and I'll be like, this sounds really interesting. And then I'll buy it and I will completely forget what it was about. All I know when it's on my shelf is that at one point I was interested in reading it. So, excuse me. So a lot of these books, I really don't know exactly what they're about, just that at some point I was interested in reading them. And based on the covers, I'm still interested. Next, I have Shatter Me, which is a dystopian romance, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Butcher and Blackbird, which is a serial killer romance. Skeen Island, which is definitely a different genre type situation for me, but the other book that I read by Elia Whitley, I really enjoyed. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed it, and the first chapter of this is very intriguing. It has something to do with an island where only women are permitted to stay, and the only way that you can go to this island is to be mysteriously invited, and you get to go for a week, and your payment for being on that island is to share your life story so it can be cataloged into the library on the island. That's all I got so far for this. And the main character's mom at one point was on the island, and she thinks it had something to do with either her disappearance or her death. I don't really remember, but it was very intriguing. Then I have The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is the second book in the Bridgerton series, and I don't think I really need to explain what this is about. If you don't know, it is I don't know, is it Victorian? It's the Victorian era, but not, it's an alternate Victorian era. It's not meant to be necessarily historically accurate, and it's a romance. The first book was okay, and I want to read this so that I can move on to the books that haven't been made into shows, because I think I'll enjoy them more if I read them before the show. So I really want to get that read. Let's see. Those are all the ones that are rolling over. All the rest are going to be new pulls. They were not in my fall TBR. So first up, I have Red Queen, and I don't really know what this is about. I think it's a fantasy romance. Honestly, I'm not super sure. I've just seen a lot of people say that the series is really good, so I wanted to pick it up. And I am very intrigued. Literally, it doesn't take a lot to intrigue me for a book. Like, so I feel like I have very high standards once I read the book, but as far as like getting me interested in reading it, doesn't take too much. And I have Caraval. I actually own the entire trilogy. I paced myself with Shatter Me. I was really tempted to just buy the entire series because it sounded interesting and because it's very popular. I stuck with just getting the first book at first, but with Caraval, I did actually buy the entire trilogy. Not at once, not at the same time, but I did end up getting all three. I have not read them yet though. So, yeah, this is like a fantasy about, I don't know, about a carnival where there are, I don't know, there's like a carnival that is hard to get invited to or something. I have no idea. But I think this is a fantasy romance. I think. I don't know. People like it, so I'm going to read it. Next, I have Visions of Sugar Plums by Janet Ivanovich. And Janet Ivanovich was one of the first books that I read, like, moving into adulthood. I read it in high school. I was probably like 16 or 17. And aside from the Twilight books, which I also read in high school, the couple of Janet Ivanovich books that I read were kind of what really made me realize I was into reading. I didn't get super into reading until later in adulthood, but at that point I was like, yeah, I really like it. And those were given to me by my grandma and I really enjoyed them. And this is very short. I found this at a thrift store. I don't know what it's about, only that it's Janet Ivanovich, and I liked her books. I haven't read her in a very long time, but I liked her books, and this is a Christmas one. So I figured this would be perfect for this time of year. It's very, very short, 150 pages, and the font is absolutely massive. And so the margins are pretty big too. Like, that's going to take me no time at all to read. Don't know what it's about though. Let's see. Next is Nightbane by Alex Astor, and this is the second book. I think this is going to end up being a trilogy, maybe more. Right now there's only two, but yeah, there's definitely a third one coming out because it says that there's an exclusive excerpt inside for the third one. I have read the first book and I really loved it. As far as enjoyment goes, just pure enjoyment, 5 stars. I did end up giving it 3.5 stars just because I did feel like there was some significant issues with the writing and the pacing, and just generally the author kind of biting off a little bit more than they could chew in the first book. But I really, really enjoyed it, so I definitely want to read the second one. The first one it's like a fantasy romance with trials. I mean, I liked it. Next is The Darkness Within Us, which is the second book for The Shadows Between Us. I believe this is just a duology, and I really enjoyed the first book. I gave that 5 stars. I enjoyed the writing, and the story was just, it's a fantasy romance, but the entire time the female main character is trying to murder the male main character. Like, she has this plot to kill him, and it's just, that's not a spoiler, like, that's in the synopsis, I'm pretty sure, but it was just very enjoyable. So I definitely want to read the second one. I feel like the second one has a potential to disappoint me though, because there's a plot point in the first one that is kind of hinted at, but not explored at all. And I think that that plot point has a lot of potential. And if it's not in this book, I'm going to be really disappointed. But I am still excited to read it. Then I have The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas, and I honestly don't remember what this is about at all. I think I bought this at the same time that I bought Mexican Gothic, and they kind of gave me, or around the same time. I don't know if I bought them together, but I feel like it kind of gave me the same vibe, and I am definitely interested in that. I gave Mexican Gothic 5 stars. I loved it. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what this is about, other than I'm pretty sure it also takes place in Mexico, and I'm pretty sure it's Gothic in nature, so excited about that. Then I have Daughter of the Pirate King, also by Trisha Levenseller, and I actually had gotten this book, my husband got me this book before I read The Shadows Between Us, and then I realized that it's the same author. So I'm really excited to read this. Also, this is just like, these like editions, these are, I don't know, these are just the ones that you can get at whatever bookstore, but they're so pretty with like the colored foiling and the edges. I love them so much. Honestly, I was really tempted to get, I think there's 2 other books. Is there more than 2? Yeah, there's 2 other books in this series. I've been tempted for a while to just get the other 2 so I have the matching trilogy, but again, I held myself back because I need to read this first. But I am very excited because I did really love The Shadows Between Us, and so I'm excited about that. I don't really know what this is about other than literally about a pirate king's daughter. So, is this a fantasy romance? I don't know. Yes, I think it is going to be a fantasy romance. She gets like kidnapped by a rival pirate crew or something. Next, I have We Hunt the Flame, and this stick, I hate the stickers that they put on book covers because it's like a 50-50 chance whether or not it's like the removable sticker, and you won't know until you start peeling it off. But if it's not the removable sticker, then you have to stop very soon. Otherwise, you're going to mess up the sticker and it's going to make it look even worse. I hate when they put stickers on the front of the covers. I can't stand it. Anyway, this is by Hassa Faisal. I guarantee I said that wrong. I'm very sorry. But this is also a fantasy romance, I think. I'm just super interested in reading fantasy romance. I really like it. I am not a fan of contemporary romance or even like paranormal romance, really. I read 2. Like the most recent ones I read were like A Witch's Guide on Fake Dating a Demon, and then whatever the second one was of that. And they were just okay. Like, I think I enjoyed them more than I would have if there were no magical elements. But I just don't think that that genre is for me. But fantasy romance, definitely. And I think that this is fantasy romance. If I am not mistaken, I don't know anything about it. Don't remember, but I'm excited to read it. Then I have The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I feel like I started reading this at one point years and years ago. I don't remember anything about it, and this has been sitting on my shelf for a very long time. And I do know that it's a popular book, so this is like a Groundhog's Day situation where she like dies over and over until she can figure out who's killing her. So super interesting. Next I have Divine Rivals, and I actually do own the second one of this. You guys, I have a really bad habit of buying sequels without reading the first book. Just because I have a really big hunch that I'll enjoy the book, but we'll see. This is fantasy romance, but from what I've heard, it's like some of the fantasy elements are a little convoluted and kind of not, I don't know, super well integrated, but this book is very popular, so I am excited to give it a try. Pretty much there's like this woman who starts like typing on a magical typewriter or something, and then it sends messages to somebody else, and they start having a relationship between these magical letters. That's really all I got. I think it takes place around like World War II-ish times. Not super sure, but okay. Next I have Assistant to the Villain. This one I want to read. This is probably the one book in this entire stack where I'm like, I want to read this, but if I don't get to it, I'm not going to be heartbroken. Yeah, see, another sticker that doesn't come off. I freaking hate these. Oh my gosh. I think that this is this a romance? Where like the woman is like obsessed with this villain and becomes his apprentice or like assistant or whatever. Yes, it is. That's absolutely what this is. This sounds like it has the potential to be really hilarious, and I hope that it is. I hope it's really funny, because I feel like this concept, the only way I'm gonna enjoy it is if it's hilarious. So the only thing that makes me nervous about this is something about it, and I haven't read it, but something about this book gives me the same types of vibes as Dreadful, and I DNF'd that book like less than 50% of the way through because I just was not enjoying it. I felt like it was trying to be, maybe it was trying to be what this book is, but I haven't read this, so I can't say that, and I don't know which one was written first. But something about this book gives me the same type of vibes as that book, and that makes me a little nervous, but I do like the concept of this book a bit more. So we'll see. The Carnival of Curiosities. I literally don't know what this is about. I bought this because my husband pointed it out on the shelf at the bookstore and was like, you should get this. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, the cover, I judge books by their cover constantly. Okay, you know what? I'm not ashamed of that. But like in a positive way. I don't look at a book cover and go, that's boring, I'm not going to read that, without reading the synopsis. You know what I mean? Most of the time it's, oh, I really like that cover, I feel like the book will be interesting. Probably still not that much better, but I'm not going to apologize for it. I really don't know what this is about besides a magical carnival. But I love magical carnivals, so we're going to read that, hopefully. Next, I have Dirty Lying Fairies, and this is a book that my husband got me. I, again, don't know what this is about besides it's fairies, you guys. And I'm probably the worst, like, book-ish content creator on the planet because I never know what books are about before I read them, pretty much. Oh my gosh. My rabbits are going crazy. I can hear them jumping around in there. Okay, so the girl is unknowingly pulled into the world of the Fae. She never believed in fairies before this. Oh, okay, so she's a changeling. So she was a fairy the whole time. Okay. Okay, well, it's just her, I think, navigating, learning that she's a fae and, like, going through a process of completing her transformation and like coming to terms with, I don't know. I don't really know. Something about her being in the fairylands. I love books about fairies. So, next is The High Mountain Court. This is another one of those ones where I think my husband just bought this for me. He didn't like point it out or anything. He just got it for me. Okay, main character is a witch. She thinks she's the last of her kind. Oh, there's fae in here. Cool. There's a king who needs a witch to stop a war. And it's going to be a romance. So I'm all for it. Faes and romance get me every time. And then we've got The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is another one that's very popular. I think this one is even, maybe a few of these are even on KU and I didn't realize it. But once I read the first ones, if I like them and they're on KU, I'll probably continue them on KU. And then if I enjoy those other books, I'll buy the physical copies as like little book trophies. But this was another one that my husband got me. A lot of the books I picked actually were ones that my husband got me. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really know. This is another fantasy romance. I'm sure of it. Vampires? Yeah, there's vampires in here. Vampire romance? I can pretty much guarantee this is romance, even though I don't see anything that says that it is. Okay. I mean, there's like there's like an excerpt of dialogue in the back, and that's, I don't know, dialogue's a little weird. We'll see. We shall see. Next, we only have a few left. Next is Sanctuary of the Shadow, which I believe is probably another fantasy romance. But like, this book is beautiful. I love that more books like at bookstores are turning into like these special edition looking books with the sprayed edges and the pretty covers and stuff. I really like that these kind of like special edition looking books are becoming more easily attainable and not just through like book subscriptions, because I don't have any book subscriptions and it's really nice to be able to go and get a book that is like, looks kind of like one. I really like that map. Let's see. Oh, this has a magical circus in it too. Oh, I should have guessed that. There's literally a circus tent on the cover. I feel like those are two like fantasy things that I pretty much guarantee I'm going to enjoy book, or that I'm going to guarantee that I'm interested in it. If it has a magical circus or if there's fae, I will read it. Maybe a dark romance? Ooh, I don't know. Perhaps. Looks interesting though. Okay. Then we have Stalking Jack the Ripper, and again, this was one that my husband got me. And this is literally that. This is a romance, I believe, like a dark romance. And this woman is like obsessed with him, in love with him. And I think, or is she going to kill him? I don't know. Oh no, she is. She's in love with him. I think she's also hunting him though, which is very interesting. That's going to be an interesting dynamic. I'm excited to read that. This one has 2 stickers on it. You guys, I freaking hate. Honestly, if I read the books and enjoy them and they have stickers on the cover, I might try to get a copy that doesn't have stickers on the cover and then like, I don't know, sell these ones or give them away or put them in like free little libraries or something, because this genuinely pisses me off. Having stickers on the cover. Anyway, this is The Family Upstairs. This is like a creepy book. They have like tenants that live upstairs or something, but they never see them. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So there's like one family that lives upstairs and one family that lives downstairs. And at one point, the police were called. 25 years in the past, the police were called because there was reports of a crying baby, and the baby was fine. The baby was alive, but like everybody else in the family was like laying dead in the kitchen or something. It looked like there was like a note left, and everybody was dressed in black, and there were like 4 other children that were in the family that were just gone, apparently. Oh my god, my allergies are killing me today. It's so annoying. Yeah, all I know, it's creepy about a family upstairs. And then I have How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. I read another book by him, which was The Midnight Library. I have no idea where that book went. That book disappeared. I'm pretty sure I know what happened to it. I'm pretty sure somebody stole it, but there's no way for me to get it back. So I might end up just buying another copy at some point, because I did really enjoy that book. And because I enjoyed that, I am excited to read this one. Let's see. So this book is about a guy who has been alive for centuries. And he just wants to live a normal life now. But there is a secret society that protects people like him, apparently, and he's not allowed to fall in love. Probably to keep people from figuring out, like, learning about his secret. I don't know. And yeah, so I think this is going to be a romance, but maybe less about the actual romance and more about the stakes that the romance creates. I don't know. So that's the last one. And then I also have my Kindle for, you know, whenever I do my thing to pick the books. Oh my gosh, my TBR game. Whenever I do that, my Kindle will be in there so I can pull Kindle books. I will be having a like new and temporary rule for my TBR games, specifically for the month of December, which I will explain in that video. But that rule is going to help me read more like Christmassy and wintry books that I have on my Kindle. So the Kindle kind of represents all of those possibilities. So those are all of the books on my winter TBR. So those will be for the months of December, January, and February. And yeah, I'm excited about every single one of these books. So I am not going to be disappointed no matter what I pick. And that was the point of me picking all of these books for this season. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know that my explanations of the books were not like super helpful for most of them, but that's kind of just how the cookie crumbles for me. But yeah, thanks for watching. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for my December TBR game. I'll see you next time. Bye.